Welcome to my kitchen. It's nothing fancy, but it gets the job done. And on today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to make fried cabbage. Just in case you wanted to know, a nice how-to video. So if you're new, get subscribed. If you're a returning subscriber, you know what's in store. So let's get started. So what I'm going to be using today to make this is one big thing of cabbage here. You need that. Going to use some salt and some vegetable oil. Very easy recipe to do, so it'd be something easy and something you can enjoy, especially if you like fried cabbage. So what I did was I took my cabbage head and I peeled a couple off the front of it, the big old leaves, and then I chopped my cabbage head in half, and then I peeled and chopped it. And it's very easy to do. So what I'm going to do now is add a cup full of water to this right here on the stove before it even gets turned on. We just want to add 1 cup of water. Now I'm going to add 1/4 of a cup of cooking oil to this, vegetable oil. So I got 1 cup of water in here and 1/4 of a cup vegetable oil. And as it's getting warm, we're going to start adding a cabbage. So I'm going to put handfuls at a time in it and try to spread it out as even as you can down in there. You don't want it to pile up. You want to just make it as even as you can. Now this is 1 cabbage head, 1/2 of a cabbage head that I'm putting in here, and then I add the other half of the cabbage head in just a moment. If you notice, we are starting to steam up. Now when it starts steaming, you want to basically just stir this up just a little, and that will help that cabbage settle down. You notice it's nowhere near as tall as it was. So that means we can go ahead and add the other half of a cabbage, or as much as you can. And basically we're cooking a whole cabbage head here today. So if you did like me and overfilled your pot, that's okay because it will cook down in size. So we're just going to give it a few to steam up, and then we're going to try to stir it. And you see just in a moment that this will go down extremely a lot in size. So let's go ahead and put a top on this, because you do need a top. Let's give it a little bit of breathing room right around the corner here. So I've been letting this steam with the lid on it for about a minute now. I'm going to take this off. Be careful. It will be hot. Don't let it burn you. You can see a cabbage just went down a lot in size for just a minute with the cap on it. We're going to take a salt now, and this depends on you. Just add as much as you like. So before I add my lid back, I'm going to stir this up a little to help that salt and the cabbage pretty well, steam up the way it needs to. Like the top of pots, I think, getting steamed extremely good. We send them down to the bottom of the pot when we stir it. And take your time. You can see the bottom portion is getting extremely soft. So now we're going to set a lid back on it, and we're going to keep a check on it about every 4 or 5 minutes. We're going to stir it, and we're going to cook it till it's done, till it's extremely soft. It takes about 30 minutes on medium, but that will depend on the heat you're cooking at and your stove. My stove's kind of old. Medium might be extremely hot to some stoves, I don't know. Mine was made in the 60s, I think, or the 70s. So the cabbage is getting extremely dry, so we're going to add 1 more cup of water. Now this has been on about 15 minutes. You want to keep it at least a little moist as it softens up. And you can see how much this cabbage, 1 cabbage head, has shrunk down in size since we've been here cooking it. Let's put that back on now. And we should be done in about 10 to 15 more minutes. So our cabbage is still a little wet. We don't want it all the way dry, but if you look, it's almost completely dry, and it's starting to try to fry the cabbage. And you want to just let it fry for a few seconds, and then you want to take it out. Well, the cabbage is done. Turned out great. Take a look for yourself. It's steaming straight off the stove. It has about 10 minutes to cool off. This should be good enough to try out for you. Now, this is old school homemade fried cabbage. You know, like Grandma used to make. Passed down generations. It's not a fancy recipe, but it's a good, old school, trustworthy recipe that always impresses because it's just so simple. Sometimes simple things are the best things. And if you love fried cabbage, any kind of cabbage, this is a great recipe. The cabbage is extremely soft. It's not too moist. It's got a little moisture to it because you want that. Don't want it completely dried. It's, how can I explain it? It's just a perfect amount of everything coming together, making a perfect fried cabbage simple recipe that you can fix yourself. Very good. There are many ways you can fix this too. A lot of people put other stuff into the cabbage. You can do this the same way. Poli sausage, cut it up, put it in put you some, Spam. Lots of stuff can go in here. You can even put onions and tomatoes, but this is just simple, straight fried cabbage. As always, if you're new, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch another one of my videos. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.